With the world of AI on a constant swivel, it is understandable that in recent times we have witnessed an unprecedented release of some of the most innovative AI models ever. With that being said, some may find that such an environment may just be too much for everyone to keep up with. Just take a look at the guys at Google. It is well known to everyone that they have been struggling in the world of AI. Don't take our word for it, just take a look at what may have happened with some of Google's AI products in recent times. There was a time when Bard chatbot was only about giving the wrong answers to the user's queries. Some users are still reeling over the wrong information that was given in respect of the James Webb Space Telescope. It is believed that such an error cost Alphabet, Google's parent company, the whopping sum of $100 million. Let's not even spend too much time on when Gemini was spazzing so bad that people had to make comments about the historical inaccuracy as well as some biased issues. With such a result, it makes sense that Google has to pull the plug on what may seem to be failures at that time. Understandably, this made people begin to feel that Google will be left behind when it comes to the world of AI, especially with the likes of OpenAI and Microsoft working hard to keep pushing the ante in this environment. Who can forget tools like GPT-4o and all the AI integration that comes with it? With all this progress being made, no one can blame Google for feeling like a big entity that just couldn't get things going in the world of AI. Well, surprise world, because it looks like Google has executed a bigger comeback than Liverpool on that night in Istanbul. One would find that after working hard to catch up, they were able to release Gemini 1.5 Pro to the world earlier this year. Not ready to rest on their laurels after producing such a fantastic tool, they were able to get back to work on this new version by implementing an experimental version known as version 0801 of Gemini 1.5 Pro. It is believed that this is now available for early testing and feedback through Google AI Studio and the Gemini API. Thanks to LMSY's Chatbox Arena, the popular benchmark used to test AI models on various tasks before giving them an overall competency score, we are able to tell how this new and improved Gemini 1.5 Pro and the experimental version holds up when compared to the more established AI models out there. Thanks to this, we were able to figure out GPT-4 got a score of 1,286, with Claude 3 not being too far behind at 1,271. What was interesting about this was that the experimental version of Google's Gemini that we just mentioned a few moments ago scored an impressive 1,300. According to records, this shows that the experimental version of this AI tool outscores even the most established tools that we may have in the market today. Insane, right? Just to put this into context, the record shows that an earlier version of Gemini 1.5 Pro scored 1,261, not too far away from the scores of the previously mentioned competitors. As impressive as this may be, especially in the overall context, it may be fair to say that we may have to consider this data carefully. After all, it may not be able to tell the entire story when it comes to the full strengths and weaknesses of these AI models. Regardless, there is still on heck of a buzz when the AI community talks about this latest version of Gemini. Just take all the people that just can't stop talking about this Gemini on social media. They cannot help but praise it for being insanely good. So much so that some have come out to say that it blows GPT-4 out of the water. Amazing claim, right? With this in mind, one can fully claim that Google may be back in the game, especially now that the users have a good variety of strong chatbot options that they can make use of, thanks to this AI tool. In the end, the best model for a user is subjective to their specific needs and preferences. With that, the jury is still out there as to whether or not this experimental version of Gemini could eventually become the standard in the market. Well, only time would tell, because although it is said to be open to the public, its early release status may mean that it could be modified at any point in the future. Heck, considering its experimental status, it won't be too wild to think that it may even be taken down in the future. Could be for any reason, be it for the safety of the user or just for a simple alignment procedure. With that in mind, again, it may not be out of our place or any other person's for that matter to claim that Gemini 1.5 Pro may actually be one of the best AI models in the world today. In the very least, it is a top contender. This may be due to the fact that one of its most impressive features is its ability to handle a massive amount of data. It is believed to be able to process up to 1 million tokens. Amazing, right? This may be the reason that Google decided to push on with their Gemini 22B model. It supposedly comes with 2 billion parameters. Understandably, some of us may consider this to be a small number of parameters, especially when compared to some other models that may be in the market today. With that being said, this seems to be quite the interesting model, especially when you consider how it seems to do more than it was believed to be able to do. Those who have had the time to make use of it have claimed that it seemed to be able to outperform models that are believed to be larger than it. We're talking about models such as OpenAI's GPT 3.5, which is crazy because this AI model is said to have 175 billion parameters. Some have claimed that this was done by Google to show that bigger is not better, especially in the world of AI. In fact, it seems that the key to making the best of these AI models is to optimize and tweak what you have at any given point in time. As great as the strides that Google may have made in recent times may have been, we must state that this hasn't been a period of constant success for Google. Just look at the Dear Sydney ad that caused a bit of a stir in recent times. As much as it may have helped that dad wrote that letter to his daughter's biggest role model, American Olympic hurdler Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, people just didn't feel that it was right to use AI to write something that was as personal as a fan letter. The critics were quick to point out how tone-deaf and bizarre such a concept might be. Like we all call out some of these superstars for clearly using AI to write their tweets or letters to their fans. We're pretty sure that these stars would feel the same when they get these AI-written letters from their fans as well. They couldn't even take out the time to write something that was so personal, not something that came from a machine. No, it didn't matter how advanced that machine was, and the users were quick to let Google know. Just take a look at all the tweets that condemned the ad when it first hit our several screens. Just take a look at what a podcast host named Linda Holmes had to say about the matter. Suffice it to say, it was less than flattering to the guys at Google. Aptly, she wondered about who wanted an AI-written fan letter. In the end, this is believed to be one of the most recent gaffes that comes to mind when you think of Google. What ought to have been a display of the abilities of their new AI model proved to be something that just attracted ridicule from their targeted demographic. Indeed, it just made it look like they didn't really consider the context of their ad and whether it made sense to use the AI for this task. In response, Google was compelled to remove the ad from their Olympics rotation. Smart choice, especially after they had to overcome the fact that the ad tested well before it aired, only to find that they would have to get rid of the ad thanks to the negative feedback. With that being said, Google didn't go as far as completely abandoning the idea. Indeed, they defended it by claiming that they were only hoping to show how AI can enhance the creativity of the user. In the end, we may need to hold on until AI has developed to the point where it can execute such a task without such a generic feel.